Natasha. It's such a pleasure to kind of have you on this platform and to put your brain on the topic, which is apartment therapy.
Yes, hi Avril. I'm so glad to be here too. Thanks, Priyal, for the introduction.
Yeah, that was a lovely introduction, actually. Yes. So now, Natasha, I wanted to just get right in. Now,
Okay.
the pandemic is looming again. It seems to be getting back into force. And one thing that I have experienced through the pandemic is that wellness is very, very important. Wellness is not only in terms of mental wellness, it's also in terms of your physical being, your surrounding, etc. I wanted to know, as a designer, how do you approach the entire topic of wellness?
All right. So, as you rightly said, till date, we've always been looking at wellness in terms of fitness routine and having a good sleep routine, and things like that. We've been talking about meditating and stuff like that. Being said that, wellness is not only about your body; it also is about your surroundings. It is about how well the surroundings welcome you, right? So when I talk about wellness in terms of apartment therapy, it would probably be how much daylight comes into the space, and how you kind of collaborate with the entire space, how welcoming is the space, and kind of it the space has to nourish the body and the soul at the same time. So yeah, I think that would be my take on it.
This is so true because we have been in lockdown. I mean, we were in lockdown, and the houses where all of us were stuck in. So to be surrounded by the same four walls can be a bit gloomy and a bit desolate at times. But
Yeah.
could you tell me, like, okay, your top three elements to bring in aspect of wellness or holistic goodness to the home?
To start with, I think three elements is going to be a little tight, but to start with, I think uh, decluttering is one thing that we must do in a space. When we have a lot of clutter, or there are things that are unorganized, you kind of have your mental, it kind of affects your mental health. As in, it does not give you a very peaceful atmosphere. So organizing that in a better way, maybe shelving it into a system, or having baskets, labeling the baskets, and kind of properly keeping things in a more organized way is going to be the first step. So the first step could be decluttering. One would also be bringing in a lot of daylight. So if you can just open up, and if you don't have bigger space, bigger windows, maybe you can have mirrors that reflect a lot of light into the space, because that would kind of help you in concentration. So it is a very important aspect. One could also be bringing in, actually this is the cheapest and the best way, would be to bringing in some plants into the indoors, because when you look at nature, you feel better. It kind of soothes you, calms you down. So getting plants, like real plants indoors, is a great element. Colors is a very important factor also. Like colors, different people have different ways to look at colors. So somebody would like blue, somebody would like red, or so on and so forth. But there are cool colors and warm colors that are a part of a therapy or a theory. So cool colors are more soothing, and they would calm you down. And warm colors are probably used for more intimate areas, or more vibrant. So colors is another aspect of this.
Okay. So, very interestingly, you mentioned about decluttering.
Yeah.
I have a confession. I'm a hoarder. I collect and I collect and I collect. And for me, hoarding is like, I don't know if it's possible, but hoarding for me, it's kind of like therapy. But any tips to help a person get onto the right track of decluttering? Like,
Yeah, I,
start
I,
a lot of things.
yeah, I would probably say don't get rid of things, just organize it. So maybe if you have a lot of, maybe you have a lot of artifacts, you can probably have like a glass shelf where you can arrange it in a better way. So it is not just thrown here and there, but it is just organized in a better way. It is pleasing. It is going to bring you joy, looking at that piece, because it probably would be a souvenir that you've collected from somewhere, or so on and so forth. So probably you can just organize it in a better way so that you can have a look at it every day and feel joyous about it. So I'm not telling you to get rid of it, but probably just organize it in a better way.
Yeah, that is good. Actually, that's a good tip for me, because people say declutter, and I immediately think throw things out. But your approach to it is very, very good. Like, it's soothing and it's peaceful. So
Yeah.
that's nice. So you've spoken about color. You've spoken about how color is a mood enhancer, and also it can change the entire outlook of a house. Color therapy is a very real thing, isn't it?
Yes. So color therapy is extremely important, because it is how that space is going to eventually look. It has a texture also, and it kind of blends into the entire space. It is not just a color on the wall. It can be an art piece that is put up on a blank wall. It's anything that would add on a color, a warmth, or anything that kind of blends or collaborates between the spaces.
So true. So true. But I wanted to know one thing about color. Now, this is just like a personal thing. I love bold colors, and I love vibrant, as you can see, curtains. I love this more earthy and more vibrant on the entire color spectrum. Whereas there might be somebody else in my house who likes a little more muted, neutral palette. How do you how do you bridge the gap? Like, how do you bring in your expert opinion?
Yeah, so everybody is going to have a different sense of taking the color in. Like, somebody would, as you rightly said, you like bold colors, and somebody would not like that. Somebody would probably like more neutral shades. So it has to be a very client centric or a human centric space. I would say that the spaces which are more used by everybody, something like a living room, or anything that is a more common zone, should be more neutral, with of course bold colors, because it has to reflect your personality also into the space. But the private areas can definitely reflect only your personality. So we can play around like that in a space, because it's not going to soothe everybody's eye. So, probably, yeah, you can have like zones created where the common zones would be more neutral, with, of course, a little of your personality reflecting into it. And the private areas definitely should reflect your own personality.
I like that. I like that a lot. I also wanted to know about art in terms of therapy, in terms of the approach to designing one's home. Art is something very subjective. Like color, art is very subjective, but it's also very immersive. It's very personal. Like, how can art change the mindset in a house, or alter it, or affect it?
Okay. So again, as you rightly said, that art is very subjective. Again, everybody is going to have a different opinion to the same piece of art. I would say art is not only a painting, or a photograph maybe, or a sculpture. It can be anything. For me, I think even the layout, as designers, when we just make a layout, a plan, is also a form of art, because that is what you want the clients to feel when they're walking into the space. It is just equivalent to a piece of art. The piece of art makes you think, and so would maybe a layout. It makes you think, okay, why is this placed in a certain way, or stuff like that. So I would say that every detail or everything that we put in is a form of art. And apart from this, I think art is also in the smallest thing. Maybe a teacup that you use, or a quilt, or a throw that you have on your couch, is also a form of art. So it is not only in terms of hanging things or having decorative things, but it is about how you look at the space, and how that space makes you feel more comfortable.
So true. In fact, I should have probably asked you to prepare for this, but one of your projects I absolutely love is the blue and white one. very
Yeah.
Mediterranean, Santorini based.
Yeah, the Yellow Door House. Yes.
Yes, it's a beautiful project. I mean, if everybody gets a chance, please to check it out. It's so soothing and it is so peaceful. It's there.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
And as you said, I brought that up because you mentioned layout is also a form of art. So that the way you approached it was very, very lovely.
Yes, thank you so much, Avril.
So, well, okay, you know what? I mean, maybe you could talk to us in terms of that project, but my next question is about creating an ecosystem in the house. Like, something which is thriving, something like how do you create an ecosystem which is happy and, wellness oriented?
Okay, so again, coming back to the mental health as one of the most important things in today's platform, probably adding a lot of colors is one thing. One could also add or do like a DIY. So if you have like a blank wall, and probably you could just do something on the wall, create it, and kind of that wall is going to talk to you once you have something put up on a wall instead of just leaving it blank. So I think that is going to make it look better also, and it is kind of going to connect to you. So yeah, probably something like that.
So basically, you're talking about transforming transitional areas into a conversation space.
Yeah. And also, apart from that, you can have small details put into it. Like you can have like a accent wall created, or you can, as I told you, you can just organize things in a certain way which would kind of relate to you. You can have pictures of your travel pictures, or your life's journey. You can have things that kind of bond to the space.
Okay. I wanted to know, Natasha, what is your personal inspiration?
Avril, can I just interrupt 1 second?
Yeah.
Avril, your voice is echoing actually.
Yeah, it's cracking a little actually.
It's a bit not clear beach mein se.
Okay. What should we do?
Do you have a headphone you can attach to?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Or maybe, do you have, I think, a fan or something is on? Maybe it's windy. If you could reduce the speed.
Yeah. So just give me a second. I'll just switch it on. Just a second, guys.
Yes.
Is this better?
Yeah, much better. Much better.
It's also coming like from a deep room.
Yeah. Natasha, can you take your laptop a bit closer, or you have a plugged in headphones too? Because somebody has commented for you too.
Okay.
I would suggest use a earphone, means with the wires one. I think the battery would last.
I don't have anything right now.
Actually, your voice is clear. Just talk a bit closer to the laptop.
Okay, I'll just get in. Yeah.
Okay, shall we start? We'll see if in case my voice is again echoing, scratching, anything of that sort.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you are.
Okay.
Okay, so I was asking about your inspiration. Where do you drive your inspiration from?
Okay, just a minute. Yeah, I can see you now. Okay, so inspiration, well, I think I've been traveling since a very young age, and I have got a lot of global exposure in terms of art and architecture. I think that has inspired me quite a lot. And apart from that, nature, of course. Well, all these things are something that everybody keeps talking about, like travel and nature and things are always inspiring. But apart from this, I think inspiring designers are aspiring designers are also very inspiring because I have a young team and they come up with great, brilliant ideas every day. So I think I get inspired by them as well.
Okay. Okay. My next question is actually based on what you just mentioned about having a young team, etc. Uh, uh, a house, like, when you're living in a home, etc. Do you feel it is a good thing to surround it? Oh, again, I'm scratchy now, my voice.
Yeah, it is cracking actually. It's not very clear, but like, yeah, I'm trying hard to understand.
Okay. I'll talk slowly then, probably maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I was asking about, like, in a house, for different age groups, how do you create okay, again, how do you create like an ecosystem that bridges the gap between different age groups?
All right, that's that.
I don't know why the noise is happening.
Sorry?
No, please continue.
I'll continue. Okay, that's a very interesting question because keeping in mind our culture, we usually have our grandparents and grandchildren living in the same space. So it is very important for us as designers to understand that we have to have a bridge between the two. So there have to be muted colors, there have to be warmth in the space. There's a study that says that 80 to 90% of people stay in an indoors environment. So it is very important for everybody to understand that the space has to reflect what you want to bring in your children. So if you want your kids to read a book, probably, I'm just giving an example, if you want them to read a book, you should have a reading corner, or you should have books that are their reach. If you want them to cook, you should have a kitchen that is more welcoming, or more interesting for them to come over and cook. It shouldn't be boring. They would just be like, that's something that I'm not going to do. So basically, we need to cater to all age groups. We need to understand their requirements and how they have their ongoing lifestyle and how you can upgrade their lifestyles. So yeah, probably when we talk to everybody is when we come down to one page where we understand what everybody would like to do, what are their common likings, what is the space that they use, and probably define that space in a more interesting way and make it more interactive.
Correct. As you rightly said, like all of us are 90%, not all, but most of us are 90% stuck indoors. How important is it in that case to bring nature into your home?
Nature definitely is very important. It is not only nature as in just opening the window and looking at a view. Probably that is something that not everybody is, these urban cities don't have that view anymore. Like very few of us would probably be privileged to have nature as a view from the window. So it is very important to bring in the nature because nature is something that, kind of soothes you down. And apart from that, it helps in concentration. When you see a blooming flower or a foliage, or, how a plant is going to grow, it keeps you connected with it.
Yes.
And, it's damn soothing and damn calming. Like I'm new to this, but my mom has always been into gardening and things like that. And as a young person, I was not very keen on it. Like I used to be like, "Ha, theek hai. We've always seen it. We've always read about it." But when you actually have a plant and when you see it grow, it is a different feeling altogether. So bringing is a must.
My next question was going to be about I don't have a green thumb at all. I get scared to bring plants into my home because I fear that I might kill them or I might not be able to nurture them properly. So will you be able to give me some tips on how to nurture?
So I was just the same. It's just been a couple of months, I think about 6 to 8 months, that I have started bringing plants, and I would admit that I have killed a few plants, but I'm taking good care of them. Also, actually, you can start with plants that are very easy. To stay indoors, like there is jade, there's money plant. There are a few of these plants that are very easy, like you just have to water it once a week. Probably it does not need too much of a sunlight. You don't need to shift it and take it outdoors to show the sun. So these plants are very low in maintenance, and you must have at least one piece to start with.
Yeah, okay.
And also being said that, Ugav is a very interesting platform, or I don't know if you've heard about Ugav. There's this store in Pune, and they are there online also. So they just deal with indoor plants. They have amazing stuff.
Okay. I think I'll start with a cactus. That sounds...
Oh yeah, cactus. Yes, of course. Yes, definitely, you can start with a cactus.
Yeah, I think I can start with a cactus. Then we'll go from there.
Yeah, probably. But you should definitely have one, and you can let me know how it works for you.
I think I will be on call with you practically every second day.
Okay.
So Natasha, so the apartment therapy is a gradual process. It's not like for many people, actually, it's not, you can't start from scratch. You have a house. How do you incorporate elements of wellness into your home in ways that don't change it? Like you don't have to burn a hole in your pocket.
Yeah, definitely. So, you should not be, getting back to zero and redesigning the entire space, definitely. But as we were discussing earlier, probably you can start with personalizing it, because giving a personal touch to the space will kind of, have that Zen feeling in you, and, it would relate to you rather than having the spaces just blank with just a cushion, just some cushion lying around, and things are not going to be very soothing, or it's just going to be haywire. So it's important to first organize what you have, arrange it in a better way, declutter, and so the first would definitely be organizing yourself and organizing the things you have. And then, as I was talking about, just probably painting a wall, or having a wallpaper added, having some rugs, or some throws, some beautiful printed cushions, getting in plants, having things that are ergonomically correct and more comfortable for you. So yeah, these things would definitely add on.
Basically about about creating design elements that connect you with your home.
Yes, definitely.
It's not just a space where you are in, but it's actually part of you. It's like an extension of you.
Yes, definitely. Because I also believe that if there's a certain style, for example, if we are talking about a traditional style and a modern style, some clients would like a traditional style of design. Some would probably not be able to sleep with a wooden bed under them. So different people have different visions for how they look at their own space, because it's going to reflect their personalities. So definitely it has to be a very personalized thing. It has to be customized. It has to be a client-centric thing.
Okay. I like that. Now, a question that I think is very pertinent at this point is about adapting your home as per seasons, because right now we are on the cusp of summer, from winter to summer, and it's super hot already. But how do you make that transition to easy changes to kind of prepare your home for upcoming seasons in very smart and efficient ways?
Again, with this, I think it would be using florals as a print. getting in linens maybe. So I understand that we cannot keep changing curtains and we cannot keep changing our upholsteries and rugs and things. But you can probably get rid of the thicker rug and maybe have the dori, the thinner ones. Maybe you can have those. You can probably have linens as a curtain for the summers. But again, you cannot keep changing it. So maybe you can have like a set of two, and you can have a thicker one for the winters and a linen for the summers and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. No, because right now the heat is on, and it must be super hot.
Yeah, it's super hot. Even in Pune, it's like super hot. But like these accents are going to add on to a lot of drama in the space. In winters you can just have throws everywhere, and it's so nice to cuddle into it and just like watch TV and stuff. So yeah, you can probably get rid of those in the summers.
Okay. Natasha, I wanted to pick your brain on some very creative ways to kind of infuse a healthy, nurturing vibe into your home. Like maybe some DIY ideas.
Okay, so maybe a wall paneling. You can actually have like a wall paneling done with moldings and things like that. So that could be very interesting. Painting a wall by yourself is again a very interesting thing to do. Maybe have a texture and paint it, again a very interesting thing. You can be creative in terms of using natural material, like you can probably have like a bamboo basket done into and use it as a chandelier, and kind of bring in the coziness into the space.
Okay. Hema wants to ask you a question.
Right.
Hema, do you have a question for Natasha? Probably she just wanted to say that you're giving us some great tips then.
Okay. Right.
Well, I think I have covered up a lot of my questions. In fact, I've gone more than but I just wanted to, before I let you go, I wanted to know what advice do you have? This is your personal inputs.
Okay.
Advice to homeowners on how to create a really peaceful and calming environment at home.
At home. Well, a peaceful environment would be something that is more airy, breezy, using cool colors, calming colors like greens and blues, because they add on to the calmness, and it is more serene to see those kind of colors. So yeah, I think colors play a very important role. And apart from this, getting artifacts that, getting any form of art, not just artifacts, any form of art that relates to you, probably that also adds in a lot of depth to a space.
Okay. Okay, I think we are done actually.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for Natasha and myself? Hema, do you have a question? I guess not.
I think so.
Well, I'm really happy I got a chance to speak with you today, Natasha. It's a weekend, but I think this is the right kind of a mindset for me to be in.
Yeah. Same here. It's been a wonderful talk with you.
Yeah, and I think the topic is very important, considering that we are going to be entering into, I think,
yeah, a second lockdown phase. I hope that does not happen. But yeah, hoping for the best.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, mental health is like very important, and it is very important to kind of have a space that is, very healthy. So it's a wonderful topic.
So before we let everybody go, if you all want to reach out and know more about the Sakal Media Group, and their counseling sessions are open. Oh, Reshma has a question for you.
Sorry?
Reshma has a question.
Your voice is cracking.
Reshma has a question for you.
Okay, I'll just check. We keep switching houses. Any tips for people like us? How can we keep house wellness oriented but still light? Okay. Okay, hi Reshma. Thanks for the question. Do you all travel with all the furniture, and do you like take all the furniture wherever you are going? Is one thing. Probably if you are, then you can just add on accents, as we spoke about. You can add on a lot of art pieces into your space, because that is something that you can carry forward, and you don't need to throw them, as we were discussing about earlier. So that is something that would probably stay with you for the longest of time. If you do not take along your furniture everywhere, then you can probably buy things that are not very expensive, and do a DIY, and kind of make the space more interactive, and kind of connect to the space like that. You can probably buy things that are I wouldn't say cheap, but things that you can probably get rid of after you get bored, or when you're changing a space. So you can probably buy those things and kind of create something nice of that.
I have also something to add to that. Oh, but my voice is scratching.
Avril, I cannot hear you at all. Like the voice is cracking a lot. Can I disconnect and reconnect? Do you want me to do that?
No, I don't think it's. I think it's me, not you.
Hello?
Actually, we can hear Avril. She's a slightly muffled voice, but I can hear her actually, Natasha. So it's
But
not.
is my voice scratchy?
Yeah, it is scratchy. But I think if we can just have a look at chat box and Natasha can answer.
Yeah, sure.
Anything?
So there's someone who's saying with IKEA's entry into Neha M. Hi, Neha. So her question is, with IKEA's entry into the Indian market, do you think it would have an impact or change the interior design industry in India in some way? Yes, definitely, Neha. IKEA is a huge market. They have things that are very modern, very pocket friendly, and that is something that just as Reshma was saying, that she keeps hopping from one space to another. Those kind of people, IKEA is a big market, and they are great. They're doing great. But also, we have other people in India, also other designers in India who have equivalent things. It is just that probably it is not marketed in the same way. Definitely IKEA coming into the market, into the Indian market, is going to impact those people. But I think they have their own pros and cons, and the beauty of IKEA is different. And we also have designers who have similar things, or things that would probably be more Indianized, more vernacular, more earthy, things that Indians really want to. So both of them are different, and it will hamper the market, but it is a personal choice on what you opt for. Yeah. I hope I answered that for you, Neha.
I think why, because of the
Okay, she says yes, it does. Okay, I'm glad. Yeah.
I think we can end it here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there are any other
So
questions.
on behalf of Avril, yeah. On behalf of Avril, I would like to end it here because her voice is coming a bit scratchy. So, but any which ways, thank you guys. Thank you for being with us on this Saturday and giving us insights on apartment therapy. And we are really glad to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Natasha and Avril. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priyal. Thank you for having us here. Bye, Avril. Thanks.